This one has a few different names due to, I imagine, not wanting the whole brand confusion and possible lawsuit with James Bond's right holders, especially when the LeBlanc estate had been eyeing them in the past. TMS's initial suggestion was Bank of Liberty, which can be seen on their site, though it was eventually given the name From Siberia With Love in the end. For the leading lady, we have Judy Scott, voiced by Yuko Sasaki, returning after previously voicing Maria. The ending theme this time is Golden Game. Lupin and Jigen are in New York City Library looking up history on the Russian Revolution. Of course, Lupin's more interested in the Romanovs' gold reserve than the family themselves. Unwritten history suggests that a Russian officer called Yurovsky helped the family, most notably Anastasia, escape to America, being given 500 tons of gold as payment. There's a clue in a low-print novel, The Ransom of King Romanov, but it's been checked out recently. The librarian can't possibly tell Lupin who did so. Not officially, anyway. Jigen tries to warn Lupin that Zenigata's close by, but he's more interested in flirting and arranging a date. Zenigata emerges and Lupin flees, accidentally ripping the librarian's dress as he tries to grab the slip of paper with the address of the borrower. Suffice to say, she doesn't take it well. Lupin heads to Judy Scott, the person currently borrowing the book. She doesn't believe their claim that they're amateur novelists and keeps them at gunpoint. Taking their weapons, she gives them half an hour to look over the book. Lupin snaps some photos as two men, Big Mouth Joe and Lucky, keep watch. Jigen senses them and, despite Judy's concerns, he makes a grab for their guns. Lupin and Jigen don't directly attack for the moment, hiding out and keeping watch on the pair through a mirror as they raid the place. Lucky spots the mirror and moves to attack them. Jigen fires back as they escape, but the bullets are blocked by bulletproof sunglasses of all things. Lupin escorts Judy to court, as she's suing her boss for sexual harassment. Leaving the book with Lupin, it's revealed that she's aware of who he is thanks to being in league with Fujiko. Lupin gets caught in a traffic jam on Brooklyn Bridge. Optimus Prime then returns, out for revenge after the secret of Mamo. Or rather, it's Big and Lucky gunning for them. They engage in a quick shootout before Lupin and Jigen dive into the river, causing an explosion to add to the damage. Lucky's hit in the shoulder, but Lupin left the book behind. Goemon's currently in Chile, meditating in a temple owned by the clairvoyant Rasputin. The temple serves as a bastion for high-profile people such as President Butch. Fujiko's headed to meet with Lupin when she gets run off the road by Big and Lucky. Meeting in a graveyard, Lupin talks about his findings. The gold is currently being held at the Bank of Liberty in San Antonio, Texas. The bank's appearance is deceptive, as the true vault is underground, home to many stolen goods stored with the intent to wait until the heat's cooled down on them. Yurovsky authored the book after tracking the gold there after having it stolen from him by criminals who were quickly gunned down by the FBI themselves. Since then, it's passed through various mafia families, which Lupin learned thanks to a cryptogram on the book's last page. Heading to Texas, the gang consider methods to move the gold, as 500 tons would be somewhat difficult to transport without some sort of convoy. Meanwhile, Rasputin is talking with Butch on Air Force One about his election woes. The whole vacuum radio thing evidently didn't work out. Rasputin heads to Goemon with a job offer as a bodyguard. Goemon refuses, but Rasputin forces him to comply by sticking his finger in Goemon's mouth. Not the last time he'll do this to someone. Goemon attacks, but learns that Rasputin took Zantetsuken. He also reads Goemon's mind on his planned attacks, as while he may be a scam artist, his clairvoyancy is certainly real. Lupin rents a warehouse near the bank thanks to charming the widow who owns it, beginning work on a tunnel to connect the two. Fujiko is assigned working her own charm at a truck stop with the intent of hiring a convoy to transport the gold once it's stolen. Big and Lucky have also followed, having decoded the cryptogram in the book, and spot Lupin headed to the bank disguised as an old woman. Inside, Lupin asks to use the toilets, using the chance to get a feel for the bank's underground. As the gang enjoy a drink, Judy joins their efforts. Big and Lucky contact their boss, revealed to be Rasputin, concerned that the gang are close to the gold. They simply get told to wait for the moment as he's meeting with a man named Calcione. With the tunnel complete, Lupin and Jigen hold the bank up. They chase everyone out except for the manager, Duke Brown, as the police surround the place. Lupin finds a hidden entrance and heads down despite Brown's warnings they'll come under fire. A trove of valuables is there, but Lupin keeps focus and finds the gold vault. Using a digital safe cracker, he identifies the right key to open it. Brown tries to reason with Jigen, telling him the gold is owned by the New York Mafia boss Calcione. Lupin prepares a plastic explosive to connect the vault to his tunnel. He then contacts Jigen, who pulls Brown outside armed with a grenade. They time it so both explosions go off at the same time, though a listening Lucky realises what they're up to. The police are fooled at least, so Lupin begins readying the gold for transport with Fujiko and Judy's help. Rasputin meets with Calcione, giving him a phony spiel about his woes. As he does so, Calcione's nephew, Dombino, looks on, angry at the obvious con. Zenigata heads to Texas to join the police effort, but he's getting nowhere fast. Rasputin calls Lucky and tells him Calcione is not going to be a problem and to track down whoever took the gold. Dombino has decided to just kill Calcione for believing in Rasputin's mantra. Lupin finishes shoveling the gold. He heads back upstairs, where Jigen set up some dynamite around the bank. They have Brown hide in a safe to keep him from harm, and charge out in a car on loan from the Mario Kart collection, leaving a present for the police chief as they go. Lucky watches this all unfold and puts two and two together. Despite planning to meet at Monument Valley, Fujiko, ever greedy for gold, redirects the convoy in New York's direction. All Lupin and Jigen find upon reaching Monument Valley is a video message from Fujiko and Judy thanking them for the gold. Lupin's prepared, having planted a tracker in one of Fujiko's earrings, passing by Zenigata, who's resorted to tracking Lupin by bike as his helicopter ran out of fuel. Fujiko and Judy stop off at Hanging Neck Hill Ranch, paying the convoy for their work. Storing the gold in a pair of silos, they agree on a split, obviously in Fujiko's favour. Big and Lucky have tracked them down and take them captive. Lupin and Jigen have also found the ranch thanks to the tracker. They head inside and disarm the pair with ease. As Zenigata continues cycling, a Russian gunship passes over. Owned by Rasputin, it moves in on the gold, using harpoons to grab the silos. Lupin manages to grab one of the harpoons as they lift off. Unfortunately, Zenigata's arrived, and in the confusion, Lupin loses his grip. Rasputin decides to just bombard the ranch, not caring that Big and Lucky are still there. Jigen frees the pair, but Big ends up killed in the bombardment. Lucky confronts Rasputin, but gets told he was just hired help before getting gunned down. Rasputin turns his attention to Lupin, setting Goemon on them. Goemon begs them to fake a defeat for now, at least until he can find Zantetsuken. Fujiko and Judy have escaped in the confusion, with the bonus of keeping some of the gold in their car just in case. Judy turns on Fujiko at this point, taking the entire amount of gold with her. She meets with Rasputin, presenting the gold as an offering. Rasputin's suspicious of her, wondering if she's possibly a Romanov herself, but welcomes her to his flock. With no money or gold, Fujiko returns to Lupin. Lucky is also revealed to have lived up to his name, having survived the gunfire. Goemon calls them from Rasputin's main temple's location, a Cossack village in Siberia. Lucky decides to join the gang in their pursuit to get revenge for Big's death, as they rent out some planes with the last of their funds. Judy finds the gold's location. She's stopped by Goemon, but he just wants help finding Zantetsuken, so they reach an agreement. The gang reach the temple, confirming it by spotting the gunship. Zenigata, who's stowed away on it thanks to being still on the harpoon, is found ice fishing. He knocks himself out against an icicle in his eagerness to arrest Lupin. Rasputin is continuing to entertain world leaders with his con artistry when he's informed that Dombino wants a meeting. He delays and spots Judy in her search for Zantetsuken. He then reveals that he knows she's a Romanov descendant, as he was descended from Rasputin himself. He suggests they use the gold to rule Russia, but consents that she's lying when she tries to work her charm. Dombino interrupts, impatient and demanding the gold for himself. He uses a remote to set off bombs around the temple to demonstrate he's serious. The blasts reveal that Rasputin's also been peddling drugs, but more importantly, Zantetsuken's hiding place is revealed, so Rasputin relents for now. This also gives Judy the chance to grab the sword. The gang find Goemon lost in thought about Judy. He points them to a cathedral tower where the gold's located. Lupin heads back to the gunship with the intent to use it the way Rasputin did. Zenigata also boards, but Lupin notes that Lucky's missing. Rasputin leads Dombino to the gold, but then kills his men. Not to mention Dombino himself by gouging his eyes out. Dombino uses the last of his strength to set off the remaining bombs in the temple. Judy returns Zantetsuken to Goemon. The gold is revealed thanks to the bombs, so Lupin scoops it up with the gunship. Rasputin runs into Lucky atop the gold as he tries to stop the gang. Unfortunately, his luck has run out, as he's out of ammo. Leaving Zenigata at the helm, the gang go to admire the prize following another sweep. They find Lucky's corpse among the gold. Worse still, Rasputin also emerges. Jiggin can't hit him thanks to his telepathy. Lupin then starts whistling, managing to hit Rasputin thanks to clearing his mind. Rasputin, living up to his ancestor, hangs on long enough to set off a firebomb on the gunship. Crash landing, the gold melts into a puddle. Goemon arrives, aiming to keep the gang from the gold as he promised Judy she could have it. Judy, who's with him, tells them that she's Anastasia's granddaughter and wants to help her people with the gold. Lupin agrees, despite Fujiko's whining. Part of the gold has melted in the shape of a pointing finger as one last Rasputin reference, so Goemon cuts it up. Lupin takes part of it as payment, but Fujiko obviously wants more. They leave Siberia with her still complaining, though Zenigata's chained to what's left of the gunship, so he'll have to make his own way back. I can't help but feel this one was a bit dragged out to fit the 90 minutes. There's quite a few tricks to stretch things out on what feels more like a story that would fit into an hour, especially when we reach Siberia. The stuff with the heist is solid at any rate, as the whole planning phase felt like a piece from back in the old days of Series 2. It's kind of amusing that a story on what if Anastasia survived managed to come out right as the whole thing was starting to be debunked. Still, does make for an interesting enough story if nothing else, and it's not like it hasn't been done before and since. I like that Lucky ends up teaming with the gang in an enemy of my enemy situation, even if it doesn't end well for him when it comes down to it. It's also fun to see Fujiko getting double-crossed for once, given how much she gets away with it even in this movie. Rasputin's an odd one, what with his methods, but I'd be lying if I said it felt out of place with some of the other antagonists the gang have dealt with in the past. Very Lupin way of finishing him too, sort of calling back to the whole thing of Lupin's mind being an enigmatic blank canvas as seen back in Secret of Mamo. Next time, Zenigata loses his job and ends up with the gang in a voyage to danger as they deal with orders to assassinate Lupin. Until then.